y'all. This is me editing. Just to give y'all a heads up, this was the episode, if y'all have seen my vlog, if you heard me talk about it, this is the episode where the file did get corrupted. The file corrupted itself. So some of it does look a little wonky, just a little bit, just a wee bit. And just be patient because it's there. Some of the time it does cut out. There are black screens throughout this episode, just towards the end a little bit. And it's okay. It's okay. Just vibe. Enjoy the show. Thanks for watching.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Curated Chaos, Conversations with Creatives.
Period. She owned that shit.
I'm AC Kimsey. I am an Atlanta-based actress and content creator.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Oh my God.
I'm so happy to be here. I was literally telling Emmanuel like several months ago, I was like, I have to be on Kendall's podcast.
Period.
Like that's like on my goals.
Oh my God, wait, I'm honored.
Truly.
I'm honored.
Yeah.
Like it's actually
I'm so serious.
It's so cool to have you in here because
I'm happy to be here.
Y'all don't understand. Like AC and I like have been like just chit chatting like for the last like several years and just like talking and like in our bag. And I feel like we've gotten so much closer in the last like year, really, like in the last year. So I'm like just excited to have you here.
I know. I really feel like we have like a mini podcast in our like voice notes.
Man.
Like the topics actually.
We be going in.
Truly.
So I'm like excited because we're gonna kind of delve into like all that good stuff.
Yeah.
I know today we're talking a little bit about like feeling the fear and doing it anyways. Before we get into everything, question of the week is what inspired you this week? And that could be literally anything. Like it could be something that inspired you to take action. It could be something beautiful you saw. It could even be something that pissed you off so deeply, like just in something that elicited an emotion, a strong one out of you.
Probably, I mean, for one, I feel like the holidays can be very inspiring or they can be very depressing. And so I think I feel both of those things, but definitely I feel inspired by the fact that it's like a new year and I don't feel, for some reason, a lot of the time I will have this feeling that like I can only change like January 1st. And it's like, I feel like I've already been kind of enacting that change the last like few months. So I feel like I'm in a better place to kind of hit the ground running January 1st. And so just kind of those thoughts about kind of starting a new year have really been inspiring me. I know that's not like a one singular incident, but that's like kind of where I've been.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. That's like, that's also so important. I feel like you're not alone there because like I feel like a lot of people are like, well, I'll just wait till the new year. Yeah, like, oh, I'll just wait to make that change or like whatever. But like, yeah, it's like start today. That's a big one. Yeah. I'm trying to think like what inspired me this week was, well,
I'm like, was there an event? Like I've definitely been eating and sleeping.
Was there an event? Did I miss something? Well, I deleted Twitter, so I feel like really like behind with everything going on, but I think it's really good for my mental health. So
truly, Twitter is a cesspool. I deleted it a few months ago, and
you did.
Not only do I feel so disconnected from like the world because that was my news source, but I also feel just a lot like better.
Yes.
Like it's so toxic. I feel like it's the most like toxic social media app.
I actually thoroughly agree.
Like it's not like at least Instagram and TikTok, you have people like creating things. So there's actual like if you want to be inspired or if you want to consume like only content that you want to see, you can
kind of.
Twitter is just people being like hateful, being psychotic, like talking about it's just nasty. Yeah.
Nasty. And I look back too and I'm like, I think about like I got a lot of my content last like show from Twitter, like discourse and things like that. And the more, you know what? Twitter was making me hate things, specifically men. Sorry. Twitter was making me hate men. Yeah. So bad. Yeah. So I'm trying to like turn a new leaf because at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also like so unrelated, but I've been trying to change my like discourse about men. Because like I feel like I'm not gonna find like a good man being like I hate men, like these men suck,
because it's the truth. It's like what is it? They're like, you know, damn, you know, when like you say things, you think them, and then they're in your reality,
right? Literally, it's like maybe I like maybe I could change that a little bit, but yeah, I definitely don't blame you. I feel like within a few weeks, like you'll start just feeling like lighter. I swear.
Yeah. I mean, it's been at this point. It's been like a week, so maybe that's what inspired me. Yeah, is the freedom,
right?
The freedom from the bullshit.
Yeah,
and I feel good.
I bet. Oh my God, I'm happy for you.
I'm happy for you.
Thanks.
So, T. Well, let's talk about this.
Okay.
Well, it's funny because we started this conversation in our voice notes.
Yeah.
And we also started it technically when we were on our own call, and we were talking about like social media and stuff, and we kind of just started chit-chatting, and I feel like we kind of came to this conclusion about like feeling the fear and doing it anyway, and like getting past that fear in order to like get to a certain place in your like creation journey, or like just in general. And I was like, we need to have this conversation on the podcast. Yeah. So here we are. I feel like, where do you feel like, I started writing things down for the show and stuff. Yeah. And I was like, where do you feel like your fear like comes from? Like, what do you think is like the biggest thing like holding you back when it comes to the fear of doing things?
Definitely, because I was thinking about it today too, and I was kind of like brainstorming, and it all comes like from other people. Okay, it's all external. And like how I sent you that voice memo earlier, I was listening to Daring Greatly by Brene Brown, and she's talking about how like no matter where you're at in life, whether you're a politician, whether you're, a housewife, whether, like no matter the level that you're out of what you're doing, like there's always going to be people who have something to say. People are always going to talk shit, and it's either because like they're projecting their own insecurities, or just because like you're not ever going to do anything that pleases like everybody. Yeah. Like, and so when I was thinking about that, I was like, all of the things that have held me back in the past have all been related to other people. Like, what are my parents going to think? What are my grandparents going to think? What are people on social media going to think? What are, my friends, my like close friends think, like, will they be like, who does she think she is? Like, and I have felt myself kind of resisting change because like the insecurity, or kind of like my fear that people will be like, that's not who you are. Like, who do you think you are, basically? And it's like, I mean, for one, we think about ourselves so much more than like other people think about us.
That is so, yes, we do.
So yeah, I mean, that's kind of like when I think about all the things I'm scared of, it's always like about other people. And I think sort of unrelated, but that's a big reason why I have had to take a step back, like from Twitter, from, consuming certain content, because I worry so much about other people.
And it's so much opinion.
Oh my God. And it's like everybody has one.
Everybody has one.
Whether you're doing what you want to do or you're doing what you don't want to do, like someone's going to have something to say. So you may as well fucking do what you want to do.
Do what you need to do. And I'm a big believer too of like, you have to live in your purpose in order for other people to live in theirs. And the most recent example I have is negative, but it's helping me live in it's helping me get closer to my life and my goals. And it is literally, man, I talked about this in the solo episode, but like the reason I deleted Twitter, help, the reason I'm gone. Same. The reason I deleted Twitter was because I saw a tweet, and this guy was calling this girl a nut rag. Yes. And he was dead ass. He was like, oh, I can't believe this bitch getting on here and she's just some other nigga's nut rag. And I was like, yo. And I was so like
shocked
offended.
And horrified.
I was so offended by that, like so genuinely offended. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm not doing this anymore. And that person was living in their purpose. And they were living in their purpose. And if their purpose was to get me off of Twitter, they succeeded.
They did it.
They lived
did
in it.
That. Mm-hmm.
They lived in it. Damn it. And so I do believe, even if it is just nasty and cruel, everybody gotta live in their purpose in order for you to like have your own purpose. I even think like, unfortunately, like bad things almost have to happen in order for them to be solutions, like, whatever. Yeah. And unfortunately, nobody wants bad things to happen. It's just inevitable.
Yeah, but it's just, And also, like, if those things don't happen, then there's no way you can appreciate, like, when things are good, when things are going well, or, like, when you are living. I feel like you have to be doing some shit that does not align with your purpose to kind of come back and find your purpose and feel that, like,
and be like,
alignment. And be like, oh, this is what that's supposed to feel like.
Yes. Yeah. There was, I'm reading currently 101 essays that'll change your life.
Ooh.
And I started writing down little like lines that resonated. And she said at one point, death makes life worth living. And I was like, yo.
That's literally it. Like
that is like, and I think of that like even like death to your like death to certain things, even like obviously life comes to an end, but like, oh, like, do you want to live the rest of your life like not fulfilling your purpose? Do you want to live the rest of your life like in fear?
Yeah.
I don't personally.
Yeah. I definitely really feel that with like where I'm at right now in my life. Like, I feel like I am kind of emerging into a light that has been kind of at the end of a very dark tunnel that I've been in for a long time. And like, I don't think I could be as grateful for that light as I am right now if I had not gone through all the shit that I've gone through and been like, I literally went through that and now I am here on the other side of it. And it feels like if I hadn't faced any kind of like adversity with like my addiction or like my depression, like I wouldn't know how good it feels to be in this place of like clarity. I
was listening to church even this morning, and what did he say? Oh man, I should have wrote it down. It was about Jesus dying on the cross specifically, but it was like, oh no, dang it, it was something about like how, it was so good, and I'm like, I don't want to like fuck up the wording because it was so perfect, but it was like, you know, like the phrase like it's my cross to bear or something, but it was like, it was pretty much saying that like he did that because he knew what joy lied on the other side of that or something like that.
Oh my God.
It's not the same.
That really reminds me of, when I saw the Renaissance movie for the first time, because I've already seen it twice,
Period.
of course. Some girl made this like TikTok or this reel, and somebody sent it to our group chat, and they were like, the girl was saying, basically, I left Renaissance feeling like, okay, what if I took my dream and I multiplied it by 10? Like, just what if? You know, like, what if I was like,
I sat up and I said,
no, seriously. And I thought about it like, what if? I mean, truly, what if?
Yeah. Like, what if you actually like just let all that shit go? But you know what it is like, and feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
I was writing down for this episode, and I think I came up with the fears that hold us back. And I came up with like a couple. I wonder if this will be like, you know, Newton's laws, Kindle's 6 fears. I think they can be boiled down to the fear of being seen, the fear of being misunderstood, fear of looking stupid, fear of critique, and fear of uncertainty. Boom.
Yeah.
That's for y'all. That's for y'all. And mine is fear of uncertainty. That's what holds me back every single time.
Well, and like I was saying earlier, you think about it, like all of those things are probably going to happen whether you're doing like what you want to do or not, you know?
True.
And yeah, I mean,
it goes beyond creativity.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think of it even in like life circumstances, right? Like you're afraid to like move, or you're afraid to like, you know, quit your job, you know?
Yeah.
All that stuff. Like, I don't know. Fear is going to be there though. Like, fear doesn't leave. That's my thought process. Like, fear doesn't leave. I asked you guys on Instagram to like send in things. Somebody said something. I will read it out loud. They said, when I had horrible anxiety about leaving the house, my therapist told me, quote, you feel anxious either way. If you leave, you feel anxious about the act of leaving. If you stay, you feel anxious about staying and the possibility of leaving. Either way, it's there. So you have 2 options. Be anxious and do nothing, or be anxious and get things done. I've practiced applying this to everything since. The fear and anxiety really is there no matter what. You have to choose the decision you want and learn to deal with the fear that comes with it.
Like the way I like literally have chills. Yeah. Like, who's your therapist, first of all?
No, like, can we talk to her?
No, that is so real. Oh my God, that's so real. Especially as a person with anxiety. Like, my anxiety will be bad when I'm like sitting at my home, like alone, safe, like nothing. There's no like imminent like danger or fear, and so it's like, okay, I'm literally gonna feel this feeling whether I'm sitting in my apartment or like if I'm out, like, you know, putting myself out there doing something like going to a networking event or something, you know, something that would give me like social anxiety. Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, you can either experience that anxiety and not grow from it,
right?
Or experience that anxiety, and like actually have something to show for it.
Yeah.
Damn.
Do you feel like there's anything like particular like in your life that you felt the fear and did it anyway, and you like have a story from it? Versus, or do you feel like there's something that you're like, I'm still afraid of this and I haven't done it yet, and there's a reason why?
Okay, the first like big like film job I ever had last year. I had applied for a PA position, never heard back, and was like, okay, whatever. A few weeks later, the casting, like the casting direct, not the casting director, who was it? I don't remember it. Whoever was hiring called me and she was like, hey, we got your email applying. We'd already filled all the PA positions. That being said, our producer is this guy. He's like coming from, you know, like 40 plus years in Hollywood. He's used to having a personal assistant. He's very particular, very, you know, you can't be sensitive. Right. I'm like,
I don't know what to tell you. I'm
right.
Pisces.
I was like, hangs up the phone. Literally. So she was like, he, you know, needs someone who can take direction, who will not take anything personally. Like, we don't have PA positions, but if you want to be a personal assistant, like, could you start tomorrow? Right. And I was like, yeah, like I just said yes. I was like, okay, like, great. And I had no idea what to expect. My imposter syndrome was like creeping up on me because I was just like, I've never even worked like on a set consistently like that before. And I was like, you know, what if I fuck up? What if he yells at me? He did yell at me. Like, but it was such, I remember like at the end of filming, the first assistant director was like, the good thing is that he's probably the most difficult producer you will ever work for. And like, I remember at the end of it, he was just so kind. And so he was very like, just very stern, very, I mean, you can tell obviously he's worked like in film for forever.
Right.
He was like the first AD on Halloween, like with Michael. Right. And so I was very intimidated. And so at the end, when he told me that I had done like a really good job, whatever, I was like, it did so much for my imposter syndrome because I just kind of showed up every day and was like, okay, I guess like I'll do what he tells me to do and I have to figure it out one way or the other.
Yeah.
You know, and so that was definitely a time where I was like scared shitless and I did it anyway. And like, I made such amazing connections. Like I ended up getting another job with that same production company last summer. Like I still keep in touch with a lot of the people that I worked with. And another one would definitely be my like sobriety, like not, you know, drinking. Like there was a lot of fear that came into that decision as far as like, will people think I'm lame? Like, will people think I'm not cool? Like I'm not fun? Like, will I never be able to have fun again? Like, will I, you know, all these things that you like drink during, I was like really scared I would just not enjoy anymore. They wouldn't be special anymore. I wouldn't look forward to them anymore. But like on the other side of that fear was like this beautiful like place that I'm in sober, you know, and it's like I wouldn't have been able to get to that place had I not just kind of been like, okay, well, fuck it. like
we're out here now.
Yeah. So
that's so beautiful to hear though. Thanks. That there is like joy on the other side, you guys. Like I think like that's the biggest thing is that there is joy on the other side. There's also like an immense amount of pride on the other side too. That's like you knew that you were afraid of this thing. And then also like everything becomes so much smaller. Like I feel like the more you accomplish or the more you push yourself, the less scarier things become because you're just so used to doing it already. You're like, what's
oh my
the
God.
point?
Truly. Like, because once you, okay, like with that assistant job, I was like, shit, well, I did that. Like anything else, I can learn how to do. Like, you know. Period. And also like, with film specifically, I guess, I don't know. I'm so easy to like, or I'm so quick to like diminish my qualifications or my experience or my, you know, like, am I good enough for this job, whatever. And it's like, I actually have so many qualifications. I have so much experience. Like, damn, I forgot where I was going with that. I love when that happens.
Mood.
Yeah.
Right.
Somewhere.
Well, someone else wrote in, somebody said that I like to think of exploration as opening doors as opposed to taking leaps. I don't know. The mindset just makes me feel safer. Instead of jumping into a hole that I might not be able to get out of, I'm just checking out different rooms that might lead to other rooms, but I can still go back to where I start. Makes me feel more safe to explore, to think of it that way. That's actually really great.
Ooh, I love that. Yeah, because taking a leap does sound intimidating sometimes.
It sounds scary as shit. Yeah. Why would I want to?
Yeah.
Why would I want to jump?
Do that, right? No, seriously, and it is such like a mindset thing. And lately, I have been, because the last few years, I've been super antisocial as a result of me like getting sober and just kind of relearning how to like socialize and do things and be around people. And so, I would just not go to things. And now I'm telling myself like, just go. And like, if you're having a shitty ass time, like you can leave, like you can go home, you know. And it makes doing those things a lot more like manageable, or just a lot more like approachable, less intimidating.
Yeah.
I really like that.
I love that too. That was actually, that's such a great way to look at things. Like, and that's what, it's always a mindset thing, especially with fear. Like, fear is genuinely so internal. It's so internal. It's so like things, like you're making it almost bigger than it actually is. Most of the time it isn't that scary. You're putting like all this pressure on yourself too, to like get it done and like feel that way. Like, I feel like I'm coming from like such a weird place, because I feel like, as like in my journey at least, like things have been scary, but like nothing scares me anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not afraid of looking a certain way anymore. Like, I even remember like even this time, like last year even, I was working really closely with a lot of like my colleagues, like, and people that like work online and stuff, like with my business, and they were like, you post on your close friends and you're so funny on your close friends, but you don't post nearly as much.
I remember that
on your main. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And I started like doing, like, I was like, why do I do that? Like, what's the reason? And I post more on my main now, but the truth of the matter was just like, I just never really fucking wanted to. I think I just was like, I just vibe on my close friends. Like,
yeah,
I can do that.
Yeah.
And now I'm like not really like afraid of anything in that regard. I don't know. And that's like really small. It's like, you know, posting things.
No,
but
that is so relatable. Literally yesterday, I posted that like pull-up video to my close friends, and it was almost like a soft launch, I guess. And I posted there, and then I was like, okay, like I can post it on my main story. Right. Yeah. You know, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I think with that example specifically, as creators, as creatives, like as artists, we feel so scared to like put things out for people to criticize, for people to consume and like maybe not like. And it's like, that's just a part of it. Like, you can't, I feel like we were talking recently about something. Oh, and I sent it to you, and this girl was like every piece of art does not have to be the best thing that you ever create.
Yeah.
I was like,
true.
Wait, what?
Like, and it's like,
what do you mean?
It's true though. Like, every piece of art isn't the best thing you ever fucking made in your life. And if it is, like,
okay,
good for
like,
fucking you, I guess.
Right.
Good for you, I guess. But the truth is, like, also thinking it from the perspective of like, not everybody's gonna like what you put out. So even from that perspective, like, yeah, not everything you do is gonna be the best fucking thing in the world. Yeah. Even if you think it's the best fucking thing in the world, it may not even be the best to Sally Joe Jenkins. So,
and fuck that lady. Like, do you feel fulfilled? Like,
and fuck that lady.
I mean, God, like, coming from such a small town to like everybody, it does not matter what the fuck you do. You could be working at Walmart, literally, like just minding your own business, like going to work, going home, doing your own thing. Somebody is always going to have something nasty to say about it. So it's like, you may as well just do whatever the hell you want to do.
It always is a Sally Joe Jenkins. Well, then wait, I have a question. Has anybody ever like critiqued you to your face about anything that you do?
I don't know.
Talk your shit. Oh, okay.
I don't think so.
No,
like, honestly,
really?
But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is, I feel like no one ever has anything to say to your face.
Isn't
like,
that fucking funny?
Like, I'm like my mom, maybe.
Right. It's always family. It's like,
right. Like, but I can't think of any time someone was like there's never been, and I'm really scared like to post my like acting for some reason, which again, I've literally been acting for like 17 years.
Right.
Like, but
just do it.
Right.
Right.
But anytime I do, like, I always get really positive feedback. And so it's like, I can't think of anytime someone said something negative to me. Now, do I see when people send my shit to other people and I know that there's probably somebody in there shit talking? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
They're not going to say it to me.
They're not going to say it to me.
Right.
Have you ever, like, you've never gotten like, has anything ever come back to you?
No.
Wow. That's actually a really great, no, that's great. That's really good. Nothing's ever come back to you.
That doesn't mean it's not out there though. Like, I'm
no,
sure
100%.
it is. But like, yeah, I mean, I
100%.
can't think of anything. I'm sure as soon as I like walk out the door and leave, you're
gonna get a text,
right? Right, literally.
Like, I actually overheard them saying something, but
right.
You know what's funny is like, I feel like that is also the reason why some people just don't start, because they're genuinely afraid that people are gonna say something about them. But at the end of the day, like, what you don't know will not hurt you. Like, if you are none the wiser. So I say that also because I've had a personal experience with a friend telling me that I had other friends talking shit about my show. So when I first started Kindle's Corner, shout out, I had a friend who was, I guess, relaying information from other friends who felt a certain type of way about something I said on the show, or like had a certain, had whatever, whatever. They had their feelings about it.
Yeah.
Nobody's coming to me. Nobody's texting me and being like, hey, I didn't like that you said that. Or like, I don't like that you talked about that. Whatever. It's my fucking life. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
But I remember specifically telling them, I told them more than once. I told them like 3 times. I said, I don't need to know that. I was like, I actually don't need to know that. And it's not that I didn't care. Like, I definitely was like, that sucks that they're like talking about it. But I was like, but I just straight up was like, I don't need you to tell me that. So if anybody else feels the need to talk about my show to you, that is so great.
Y'all
don't
keep
tell
it.
me. Yeah, I was like, just don't fucking tell me. I'm good. I'm good on that.
I really relate to that, especially as someone like with anxiety. If people are talking shit, I don't care. I don't want to know. Don't bring it to me. Like, I think maybe that's why I can't think of anything, is because I have like mastered the art of just blocking it out.
Yeah.
Like, I am so quick to like block people, to mute people, to like revoke people's access to me, truly, because like the evil eye really is so real.
It is.
People like are projecting their own like fears and own insecurities onto the fact, oh wow, like who does she think she is? She feels bold enough to put herself out there and like start something. Like,
but
that's
you would,
really
you
like
would
the root
never,
of it. Right?
You would never. That's what it always is. Is like, I would never do that. So why are you doing that? And it's like, well, why is that my problem that you would never do some shit like that?
That has nothing to do with me. Leave me out of it. And I always say that like what other people have to say about me is not my business.
It's
like
none of your business.
And that is really something I learned at KSU, because I remember for some reason there would always be random people that I would hear about that didn't like me. I would have never been in the same room as these people.
That's what I'm saying.
Could not pick them out of a lineup.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
man,
like literally do not know this person from a can of paint, and they don't like me. And I'm like, okay, that has nothing to do with me. Like, that is not my business. Jesus Christ.
Not a can of paint.
Like,
that is too good.
I'm so serious.
That's actually so fucking funny.
Oh my God.
No, but it's so true. And I think, man, so you want to know something that gagged me? This is the whole other tangent, but people are okay, feel fear, do it anyway. If you're afraid of people watching you, I'm going to tell you right now, they're watching you.
They're watching.
They are intently watching you. They know your every move. Tell me why I went to a party. I'll reveal names after this. I went to a party and somebody that I hadn't seen in years. I do not follow this person on any social media platforms at all. They pretended not to notice me, which I thought was funny. Like, they pretended not to see me. And then when they couldn't like really ignore my existence because I was in the same vicinity as them, they were like, oh my God, like, hey. I was like, hey, like, how are you? What are you up to? The usual. Oh, I'm working. Da, 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 da. And what are you up to? I know you got the podcast. America, can anybody see this person's big mistake? Anyone? How the fuck you know about anything I'm doing and you don't follow me anywhere? You just know.
Now you're lurking.
You're lurking.
You are a fan.
Yeah!
As far as I'm concerned, you are a fan.
Yeah!
And you're increasing my engagement. So thank you
for
that.
Thank you. But because that threw me off so bad, because I was like, arf. Because like, who?
You were like,
it's very clear this person and we never got along.
Yeah.
I don't like them.
Yeah.
That's just the truth. They don't like me. That's okay. It just is what it is.
So why are you tuned into my life?
Everybody was. The professors knew about my show too. They was listening.
They knew about everything.
Man, I had professors. At one point, I think I came back like a year after I graduated, and one of the professors was like, "Oh, how's that podcast going?" I was like, "You don't follow me either."
You were
so
like,
how
"Can
the
you
fuck
please
do, you know
do your
this?
profession? Like, can you please tend to this department that has its own issues?"
Literally,
like,
I was like, "You do not follow me on social media. Like, how the fuck do you know about my podcast?" So that's how I know. I'm like, it makes its rounds. People know what you're up to. They know what you're doing at all times.
And this sounds so petty, but like, if I'm like thriving and you don't like me and you see that, I just like, I'm just like that's just so funny to me. Like, I don't know, like, it's just
sweet,
cruel irony, like just very poetic. I feel like,
because it is,
because
it's sweet.
This is like sort of unrelated, but who was I feel like I was saying something earlier today about having like tunnel vision. I was talking to my friend on the way here. I was sending her a voice memo about just not like consuming so much on Instagram, because I feel like when you're so focused on other people, you can't focus on yourself.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's like related to this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
like, people are so worried about what other people are doing, and it's like, why.
You know, what was it? Okay, so this was in like, it was in regards to like, I guess the reference is about like people like hating on you or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, if people are your fan and they copy your every move, just understand like they don't have their next move until you make yours. I always thought that was right. I was like, wait, damn, that hit. But in that same regard, it's like people are genuinely consuming because they don't know what to do with their own lives, and they're looking for like, okay, what is this person doing? What is this person doing? What is this person doing? Instead of like genuinely trying to figure out like what their purpose is.
Some kind of like permission.
Yeah, their permission to be themselves. And I think I'm talking to the America here. Like, y'all, like, stop looking for permission to do what you need to do.
Everybody is literally making everything up all the time. Like, no one knows what they're doing.
What
Like,
the fuck
everybody's winging it. Like, okay, in a negative like context, you think about like Anna Delvey and Inventing Anna.
Mood.
That lady like
manifested her life
literally and scammed all these like billionaires, these like big names in art and in business, and it's like, I mean, was she a pathological liar? Yes.
Absolutely.
Like, yes.
And good for her.
But also, like, at the same time, she was like this close to like having
really
everything
making
that
it
she
happen.
wanted. Yeah. And it was because she just like believed that herself, that was like a thing. She didn't wait for somebody to tell her it was okay. She didn't wait for somebody's permission. Like,
Bingo.
You have to validate yourself in that. And that's something that I have really struggled with, is like validating. Oh my God, I was watching this like TikTok that Jackie Ina posted today or yesterday about Leos, and she was like, Leos validate themselves, right? So I was like, I love that. And that's something that I have struggled with, is like giving my power to other people and asking all these other people what their opinions are, what their ideas, what did they think, even small things like what picture should I post first, like on Instagram. And then I end up posting a picture that I don't even like. And I'm like, I should have just posted the one that like I wanted to post first. Right.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah.
It's so funny because like I look for second opinions even when I know, like when I know what I know. And it's funny because there's a difference between asking for advice, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember I looked at I was making the cover art for this show.
Yeah.
And I sent it to my assistant and I was like, something about this looks off. Like, what do you think? And she was like, hey, I would change the color of this and I would like, you know, fix this. And I did, and it looked great. And I was like, perfect. But I also remember when I was sending her the selects for it, I was like, I think I want, it's either this picture or this picture. And she was like, I honestly think like this picture would be really cool for the thumbnail. And I looked at it and I was like, no.
Yeah.
I was just like immediately like, mm-mm.
Yeah.
And I think like that's growth in itself, because I think at one point in my life I would have been like, maybe like you're right. Like maybe you're right. Mm-mm. And I think I do it. Now she's gonna listen to this and be like, "Oh my God," because you know, to their face, I'll be like, "You know what? Like, I'll consider that." But like in my head, I'm like, "Oh no, fuck no, I'm not doing that."
Right.
And that's just is what it is. Like,
but if anything, that almost makes it like easier to decide and pick up on like what your initial like thought was, you know, like, you know, when you ask someone, okay, do I want to eat this or do I want to eat that, and they tell you something and you're like, no, I
actually,
definitely
no.
don't want that, right?
Sorry.
It's like, okay, well now I knew all along like what I wanted.
Yeah, man, people are funny.
Truly,
people are funny and things are funny. I don't know, I think at any given point like a lesson is to be learned. And let me stop before I start saying some shit that don't make no damn sense. I'm trying to figure out what else y'all sent me. Hold on. Okay. Somebody actually asked for advice.
okay.
And this might be like a great like way. I mean, the whole episode has been a bit of advice, but maybe there's like specified. You got it. Somebody wrote in, being afraid to start / the fear of not knowing an outcome is my last 4 years in summary. Help.
Ooh.
Help.
Okay. This sounds so cliche, but like, the year is going to pass regardless. Like, that is something I have really learned with my workout journey. Like, and now that I'm really starting to see results, I'm like, damn, what if a year ago I hadn't started because I thought I should have already started by now?
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, maybe, but I didn't. So,
I did it anyway.
Right. You know, and so,
you
yeah,
have
I mean,
to just start.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is like, you can either spend the next 4 years like worrying about it, or you can spend the next 4 years, you know, kind of taking risks and like,
and reversing it.
Yeah, I'm preaching to myself as well, because that's
Mood.
definitely right. That's
Mood.
definitely something that I struggle with too. But it's just like, the time is gonna pass. Like, it's not waiting for any man, you know. And so you either do something with it or you don't. Yeah, I know that's not like great advice, but
it is though. You know what? My advice, genuinely, to like anybody listening, I use the analogy so much because it's so true. Get in the gym. And let me explain, because I'm sitting here and I'm like, the gears are turning. But like, I can't explain to anybody. You just have to experience it. And then you get to a place where you actually like see results. And I feel like the only people that truly, like, I genuinely think something happens in your brain. There is a mental switch that happens. I swear to God. Once you get consistent in the gym, or once you just get consistent with a workout plan or whatever. It's so empowering. It is.
Like, it is so empowering. My trainer posted something the other day, and it was like, the motivation comes after you start seeing results.
I
like,
saw
not
that.
Before. Yeah.
I saw that.
And I was like, oh, wow. Like, I've never felt more motivated than I do now. And it's because I'm like, oh shit, wait, like
I see progress. Like, we have to keep going.
Yeah. And it's the same thing with sobriety too. Like, when you do something that's that hard and you see that you can do it, it's like, okay, everything else seems easy in comparison. Now. Yeah.
It's so funny because I think like the gym is obviously, it's physically taxing, but it's just as mentally taxing as it is physically.
Oh my God. If not more so.
If not more so.
Like, actually, half the time I will be in my head so much. I can hear my trainer in the background of my videos being like, AC, get out of your head. AC, that was mental. Like, AC, ooh. Because I can see myself, and physically in the video, I don't look like I'm struggling. My body does not look like it's about to give out. But for some reason in my head, I'm like, I'm about to fucking die. Like, it's like fully, I have to come out of my head.
Yeah.
And so it is such a mental thing.
It is. And so, like, I feel like to anybody, how do I phrase this? Get in the gym. That's my advice. That's my unorthodox advice. Get in the gym.
And we both have theater degrees. So like you
right.
like right. I've never been a fitness girly. I've never been an athlete. Like
right.
And this, I think, has like being in the gym has just caused such a massive transformation like in my life. And not just like physically.
Yes.
But just it is like a tangible example of me showing up for myself.
That's what it is. You just put words to it. That's exactly what it is. Because at some point you are going to see results. And I feel like whether it's losing weight, whether it's getting toned, whether it's feeling good, whatever it is, you literally see a physical representation of showing up for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And I feel like once you do something that you're forced to be consistent with, and I think maybe I feel this way too because like I didn't do sports growing up.
Me neither.
I didn't do like an activity like that. So like I've never really known consistency outside of like a rehearsal.
Yes.
You know what I
same,
mean?
Literally same.
And I feel like a lot of the times like you can fuck off in a rehearsal.
Yeah.
You know, like you really can. And so but with sports or with like if you're an athlete, like, you can't fuck off because if you fuck off, like you're fucking up the team.
You are really going to struggle when you try to come back. Mm-hmm. Like, you know.
Yep.
So, oh my God, I have really struggled with, I hate like always relating things back to my sobriety, but it is just like such a thing.
It's like, a big part of your life.
It really, it just has taught me so much. Like for the longest, my last therapist, I used to tell her like, I feel like I'm incapable of being consistent. I'm incapable of having like self-discipline. Like I grew up in a very like structured environment. My parents were pretty strict. I went to a college prep school my whole life. So there was never any room for me to fuck up. Mm-hmm. And so when I got out of that structure, I was like, bet.
Oh,
like,
I'm
we're gonna go
right.
fucking wild. Right. And so like kind of coming out of that, I was like, I feel like I don't even know how to like be consistent or show up for myself or make myself do things I know I don't have to do.
Yeah.
And then when I stopped drinking and it stuck and I like really stopped, I was like, oh shit, like this was the hardest thing that I had to face. Mm-hmm. And if I can be consistent with that, then like getting up and going to the gym, right? Like I'm like, okay, great. You know, and it's the same thing with like what you were talking about with like the girl who was saying, look at it as like opening a door. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, I'll go to the gym today. I don't have to go tomorrow.
You really don't.
You know, and it's the same thing with drinking. Like, I'm not going to drink today. I could drink tomorrow if I wanted to.
Yep.
And it's a mindset thing.
It is a mindset thing. And it's the same thing. Like I hear this argument with like feeling the fear, especially with like working in content. Obviously, like you get a lot of people who are like, I want to be a content creator. That's also the thing. It's like, I want to be, as opposed to like I am, right? But like I want to be a content creator, but I'm just like so scared of posting. I'm like, girl, I don't know how you're gonna do this then. I don't know. And that's what it is. It's like okay, you just have to show up. You just have to keep going. I look at videos from I started posting consistently on TikTok in 2021. Yeah. Yikes. Yikes. That was before TikTok had auto captions It was before you could make a 10-minute video. It was a nightmare of a situation. You couldn't even make a 3-minute video back in 2021, I believe. I think it was literally capped
60
at
seconds.
60 seconds.
Yeah.
That's what you had, bitch.
Yeah.
And man, I literally hope nobody goes down that hole and sees those videos. Everybody's like literally scrolling to the bottom right fucking now. But like, man, if I based my life around like that period of my life and was just like, okay, like, you know, this is how my videos are always going to look. This is how it's always going to be. Then yeah, you're
Where
right.
would you be now?
Maybe it would, I don't know. Cause like I would have just given up because those videos are awful.
But on the other hand, I don't know if you've ever done this. Sometimes I will go through my own content and I'm like, damn, like that's good. Like I feel really inspired by that. And it's like,
I do that.
Yeah, I was about to. Leo behavior, true Leo behavior. Surprisingly, I don't have any Leo placements. Maybe I'm just a narcissist. I don't know.
No mood. Actually, no mood.
But like, it's like, oh, I probably couldn't even watch this when I posted it because I was going to have like secondhand embarrassment or like critique it so bad that I was just going to have to like archive it or delete it. And then like you go back after kind of giving yourself space and you're like, oh wait, like I like that.
Yeah.
Like
we, on the last episode, well, I filmed it yesterday, but I don't know when this comes out and stuff, but the episode I did with Wolf, we read old poetry on the show. We critiqued it. We were like, this is so cringy. And then we read something that was newer. And what I read was something that I wrote like 3 years ago.
Okay.
But I was like, yeah, that was good as shit. Like, I'm proud of that. That is like a piece that I'm like genuinely like, yeah, I ate that down. And I think sometimes you have to go back and like, and it was 3 years ago, right? Like, I don't know if I would write the same thing today at all. But it was like, I was proud of that. Like, you have to go back and like look at your shit and be like,
I have almost all of my like filmed plays from middle school and high school. Right. Like
really?
Yeah. And
God, you're blessed.
I like
I wish.
insane, truly. And I went back and watched, I think it was my like second semester, my like senior year was my last high school play. And when I tell you I was bracing myself, I was like, this is about to be painful.
Right.
I went back and I was like,
wait a damn minute.
I was really doing that shit. Like 16 years old, 17 years old, 15 years old. Like I was always like good at it, you know, and it's so difficult when you're an artist to criticize yourself so much, to compare yourself so much that like you have to take a step back and like leave it be and then come back however many years later, maybe even just to appreciate it or to appreciate how far you've grown, but also to go back and see like it was there to begin with, like all of, you know.
You have to. It's so funny because like I was watching an interview with SZA and she was talking about how she doesn't even listen to her music. A lot of artists don't. Like a lot of like musical artists I've learned like don't really listen back to their music a lot because they're always like
me with my voiceovers. I'm like, well, y'all are just gonna get it.
Maybe I am a narcissist because I'm sitting here like I don't know how y'all do that. I would have probably been like, I love that fucking song, right? But like she's talking about that. She was talking about like how she doesn't go back and listen to that. And there's a mindset I think too of like people like it's like. You're talented, but like there's some part of you that's like, I'm icked out by this.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that's about. I'm like, I don't know what that's about. I don't know. No,
I fully feel that way because sometimes I ask myself, I used to really less so now, but I used to really struggle with either hearing my voice back like on a voiceover or on a recording, whatever, or watching myself like in film. And I used to think like, how the fuck are you gonna pursue film as like a serious actress and you can't even like go to the premiere because you're like, I won't actually be watching that.
I actually hate this, but I think that's what I really admire about like certain artists like Beyonce, like her being able to like she rewatches that shit and she looks at it and she's like, something
that is how you're able to really grow. Like that is because you have to experience that ick and be like, oh, I don't like that. Like, I don't like that. But that's how you get stronger and that's how you evolve.
I agree. I think it's like, and I think that's what it is. I think that's what like always confused me because it's like, yeah, of course you don't want to listen to yourself on repeat, right? But it's like, going back and being like, okay, it's been a couple years since I put out this project. Like, let's see what we fucking were working with. Okay. Yes, that was painful, but this was very necessary.
Because look how far we've come now from that.
It's important to do that. Yeah. I think everybody you should all keep an archive of like your shit. Like, I don't care how one thing, okay, this is about to be really embarrassing. One thing that I wish, one of my biggest regrets in this world, actually.
Oh God.
I have, you're like, the fuck is about to come out of her mouth?
Literally.
Actually, it's worse than you think. It's literally worse than you think. I had a Gmail account. I had a Gmail account with a Google Drive associated specifically to all the fanfic I wrote. Wait. I know what you're thinking. You're like, bitch, really? I was like 14, 15. Okay. I wish I never deleted that. I would love to go back and see what the fuck my little 14, 15-year-old brain was thinking. And I really want to compare and see like if I was that good at writing or not. Like, I don't know.
You probably were a lot better than you would like think.
Yes, but I deleted it. I don't know why I did that. I
get it.
Google Drive. Yeah, I was probably humiliated. I was like, nobody needs to see this.
You were like, actually, this could never surface. Like, this could, in fact, I can never see this again. I would like to forget that this exists. So, no, I definitely get that. It's like part of just, I mean, we are truly our own harshest critics. And it goes all the way back to what we were saying at the beginning. Like, you think about yourself so much more than anybody else thinks about you.
You really do. And I read somewhere or I saw something. Usually it's a TikTok, right?
Right. Yeah.
Usually it's a fucking TikTok. But I saw a TikTok or something. And it was like, they were pretty much equating like that mindset of like constantly thinking about what other people are going to think about you or like thinking that other people are looking at you that intently is like almost like a form of narcissism because they're like, nobody gives a fuck about you.
No one cares about you like
Why
that.
Why do you think people care about you?
My mom is quick to humble me like that. She always like one of her favorite quotes. It's like some Dr. Phil quote. And he says, I guess something like, you wouldn't worry so much about what other people thought of you if you knew how infrequently they did.
Well,
I know. And I was like, gagged me a bit. I guess like, what do you mean people aren't spending every waking moment thinking about me?
Like, what are you talking about?
Right, like seems suspicious. I don't know.
I don't know if I believe you.
It's so comforting though.
It is.
Like, oh wow, I can really like move through the world and do what I want to do and put myself out there because like other people are so invested in themselves the same way we are that they are not, for the most part, unless they're truly just hater ass hoes. Like they're not worried about what you're doing.
Hater ass hoes.
You know? And in which case, that's worse.
But you know what? And also, in which case, you're probably not the only one that they got the eye on. So understand that you're on a rotation.
Yeah,
you're on a roster of people that they can't stand.
Yeah,
and that they hating on. So if that makes you feel any better, like you're not the only fucking person in the world. Understand that too. Don't be selfish.
Only a little.
Only a little. No, literally coming. I'm a hypocrite.
So it's like I feel like I've had this kind of like surge of self-confidence recently, and I'm just waiting. I feel like I'm just waiting on somebody, and it's always somebody close to me that I'm scared that they're going to be like, "This is not who you are. Like you're actually really insecure. Like you actually." And it's like,
oh wow,
yeah. And it's like, well, okay. For one, you shouldn't be scared to grow just because someone like thinks that you're in a bad place, whatever. But also like, if you only knew how far I came to get to this point where I loved myself, to get to this point where I was able to say positive things about myself, like it's not, I don't feel like it's narcissism.
Right. It's always a joke. And I think that's the thing is like, I'm honestly at this point, I am taking those I'm taking them like they're compliments. And I'm like,
because why are you scared of me?
That part. But more importantly, I'm like, oh, thank God that it is like, so glaringly obvious that like I genuinely love myself. I genuinely like care about my well-being and my like myself. Some people don't. And like some people don't.
And those are always the people who are so quick to want to humble you, to want to knock you down. And it's because of, it's like the whole thing with Simone Biles' husband. Like what?
A quick glance for the audience.
Like, why are you so insecure that you have to humble this woman? Because it always is rooted in that person's insecurity. It has nothing to do with you. Like,
and that's literally at the end of the day is what it is like people are always going to project what they think is possible for them or impossible for them onto you. That's specifically with people, right? Yeah. And then with you're projecting your own like insecurities into what you're doing. And so sometimes you have to just feel that way and do it anyway. Because you are just so much better than I think you are. Unless you aren't.
In which case, I hope that you have good friends to tell you.
That part, because some of y'all don't.
Some of y'all really don't.
Some of y'all friends.
And I hate that for y'all.
To y'all. Oh you sing off key. Like, stop doing that.
I, of course, I'm immediately thinking of like the people who go on American Idol. And they're like, my friends and family tell me I'm so good. I'm like, okay, well, they hate you. Like, those people hate you.
He said stop listening to them expeditiously, quickly.
God.
Man.
Also, really quick, when I was listening to the same Brene Brown book earlier, Daring Greatly, she talks about how people can be so like cruel and critical, and that lately, like in this time, something that's considered really like lame or not cool is to be like excited about things or be like enthusiastic about things, or like that, you know, enjoying something makes you like gullible or makes you like weak. And it's like, where did that come from? I don't know where that came from. But I have felt myself being scared to put myself out there, because I'm like, I don't want to put myself out there and say I'm a content creator because someone's going to come along and be like, no, you're not. Like, okay, that again has nothing to do with me.
Like, and I've always heard the saying of like, someone that's doing better than you is not going to look at you trying and be like, oh, like, what a loser.
Oh my God, that's so true.
And it's true. And it's like, so at the end of the day, if somebody does come along and is like, oh, you're not a content creator, I'm literally sitting there like, okay, show me your analytics, bitch. Quickly.
Like,
because who the fuck are you?
Or at least show me your, like, whatever qualifications you have to make that like judgment call about me.
Let me just say this much. That whole industry is so untapped. Anybody and everybody is calling themselves an expert in that industry, including myself. So understand this much. I don't know who you are or who you think you are, but you cannot just go across and say that people aren't that. Just shut the fuck up.
Like, okay, even you just think about, this is this like super deep thought I had at the gas station the other day. Of course, I like went to get a Celsius, and again, of course,
no move.
And I was thinking, I was like, damn, what if like the person who created Celsius thought, I mean, Red Bull already exists. Like nobody's ever gonna like want to buy this. Nobody's gonna like
that.
And now I'm like, Red Bull, like that makes me really jittery. Like I much prefer Celsius.
Yeah.
And so it's like there's like space for everybody.
There's
like
literally space for everybody. That's such a good point. I'm glad that you brought it up because it's very true. It's so true. So understand, and it is, man, when I was in the midst, we're getting like more vulnerable, and I'm like, I know we have to wrap the show, because I'm like trying to hurry the fuck up, but like
me and you sitting here until 2:45 a.m. right, literally.
But like when I was in the midst of making the show, I was talking to my strategist at the time. I was like, she had me doing this why exercise, which I think everybody should do.
What is it?
It's a why exercise.
Like
so
WHI?
Yeah,
why?
like why, to get to the bottom of your why.
Okay.
And so she started it off with like, you know, like, why do you do what you do? And I was like, okay. And she would take bits and pieces of what I was saying and kind of reframe another sentence to kind of, you know, be like, well, you said something about X, Y, and Z. Why do you feel that strongly about X, Y, and Z? And she told me before we started that I was going to start crying. And I was like, you know, no, that's not true, you know, whatever. And we got to a point in the session where she was like, you know, why? Because I got mad. I was like, I'm so sick of people complaining. Like, I was like, I'm really sick of people complaining about how they're not where they want to be. And specifically and like with the people I help and the people I work with, you know, it's like, oh, like, I'm not seeing views, or like, I wish I was more X, Y, and Z. And I get so mad about it because I'm like, okay, well, what are you doing to like get yourself in that position? And then I got to a place and I was like, you have to post, like, no matter what, even if you're scared, you have to post. And she was like, why? And I was like, because if you don't, like, you are hindering someone else from literally seeing that and being inspired and doing something else. Like, it is literally all a cycle of like, if I don't make, and I knew, like, it was like, if I don't make this show, who's to say that one of these episodes like will reach somebody and it will literally light a fire under their ass and get them back into their purpose. And that is why I do what I do. Like, that's
literally, why. That is so real.
It's
like,
why.
Also, again, circling back to my sobriety, when I made like the conscious decision to be vulnerable and transparent about it on like social media, I was so scared and like embarrassed, and like the amount of people, I mean, like dozens of people that have reached out to me in the last few years saying they feel like they have a drinking problem or they're worried about their dependency on alcohol or whatever. And it's like, if I had never like
said anything.
Yeah. I mean, so many people with that specifically think that, you know, addiction and alcoholism looks like one certain thing. We don't realize that it affects like people our age, successful people, like wealthy people, you know? And so I just think sometimes, like, what if I just had decided like to keep it to myself and not share it with anyone?
Man. Like, and then like, what if you, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're now a safe space for somebody to come and be honest about a change that they need to make in their life. Yeah. It's like that. And I believe like, it's not only my why, I genuinely believe it's everyone else's why. And it should be everyone else's why. It's like, you know,
That light said, wrap it up.
Right. Like you need to go. But I guess the point is, feel the fear, do it anyway, because you don't know who you're going to impact, and you never know who's watching you, and you don't know what impact you have on people, and it is so much greater than I think that you think it is. And that is why we as creatives do what we do. It's to obviously make people feel, it's to impact people, but like in general, whether you're a damn mechanical engineer, and everybody says it, like, you know, you may cure cancer, you fucking might.
You really might.
You need to do what you need to do so that other people can do what they need to do.
And even if it's just one person, like that is one human soul that you affected.
Isn't that special? And it should be.
Yeah.
So, I feel like that was the wrap up, because usually I'm like, well, any last standing piece of advice? This whole episode wasn't advice. Take what you need.
Yeah.
Take what you need and go. We had some technical difficulties.
We're
Okay.
back.
AC, where can the people find you?
Okay. Y'all can find me all social media at King Canla. King, King, Canla, Candlah.
Period.
Yeah. You can also find me on IMDb at AC Kimsey.
Period.
Little shameless plug.
Period. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Anytime. Guys, if you like this show, make sure you please give it a thumbs up on YouTube and rate it 5 stars on Apple, Spotify, and anywhere else you get podcasts. That would mean the world to me. And also, please leave a review. We will be reading reviews at the end of the episode eventually when we get enough. Send this to your friends. Send it to the creatives you like. And yeah, we're still working on an outro. We don't really have a signature one yet. So bye.
Thank you.
Doodles.
Bye.
Bye.